Hey everyone, it's me. I'm really sorry for not filming a video on Friday. I was tent camping and it was raining. I didn't film one Saturday because of the same reason. Sunday I came home and today's Monday. So, yeah, I'm kind of doing it now. This video is more or less going to be about bettering myself and how I've done that. And before I go on about that, the big news, name change is Wednesday. I'm really excited about that. So, yeah, happy tone for this video. But this video is probably going to be kind of heavy because I'm going to be talking about, like, how I've come, like, how far I've come since I discovered myself, I guess. Not really. But, for this video, I'm speaking kind of off a script, and it's kind of intermingled with a lot of other topics that I've wanted to talk about in separate videos, but I figured it's all related, so why not just put in one big video? So I'm doing that. And there's really no other way to say this than straight out. And I have depression. And for some of you, that's not a surprise. For my friends, you all know. My direct family members know, like immediate family. The rest of you, I'm pretty sure you don't. And if you even watch this. But I have depression. And I've had depression for, I don't even remember how long. I know it got pretty bad in the past couple years. I am medicated. I'm on Prozac to treat it. And I've been doing a lot better. If you'd talked to me previously to November of last year, you would definitely know a difference between who I was, say, October 2014 to how I am now. And it's been a learning experience because I don't remember a time that I've ever felt so genuinely myself. I just don't. As soon as I went on to medication, I started relearning who I was all over again. And to be doing that at then 16 years old, now 17, I'm still learning who I am. It's strange, because normally, even as like a preteen or tween or whatever, you know what your personality is. You know who you are and what you like. And I didn't. I was just kind of trapped in this strange limbo of not knowing who I was. And once I went on medication, I started learning who I was again. And I'm definitely not saying that medicine is the complete fix for depression. It's just been a roller coaster for me. And I don't even know. I mean, I've been doing really, really well. And medicine hasn't been the biggest factor in fixing that. A lot of the issue with it was just the people I surrounded myself with and who I talked to. And I've cut a lot of people out of my life. And honestly, yeah, sometimes I miss those people. But looking back now, I'm really glad I did. I don't think I would be anywhere now than I would be. If I hadn't cut those people out of my life, I don't know where I would be right now. I'd probably still be depressed. I'd probably still hate myself. But, one of the biggest impact of cutting someone out of my life was a family member-in-law. And I'm not going to use his name, so we'll just call him Tim. A family member that I'm very close to, I'll call her Alex, just for their own privacy, because I know they'll probably see this. They were married, and they divorced. And, only recently. But prior to that, when I made my big coming out post on Facebook, coming out as transgender to my family, Tim, he came out to me. And he told me that he was also female to male transgender. And at the time that I needed an adult trans guy in my life, I needed someone who knew what I was going through. And he was a great help. And Tim, he made me realize that I wasn't alone, even though I have a ton of trans friends, or just non-binary friends. None of them have begun their transition, if they are going to transition, and having a positive adult person in your life who has gone through the transition, that it made me feel a lot better about myself. And it helped. But then it didn't help. I found a Facebook page that was recommended to me, another account, like another person, and it looked a lot like Tim, and it was a picture of a girl, and the profile was a girl, let's just call this girl, Madison. Madison looked a lot like Tim. And knowing that Tim I was under the impression that Tim was adopted. So I'm honestly not even sure if he is. I looked on Madison's page, and everything was private. I only saw that she had mutual friends with Tim and Alex. And so I texted Alex, and I was like, hey, is this Tim's sister? It looks a lot like him. And Alex called me, and she told me that it wasn't Tim's sister, it was Tim. And I was really confused. I was like, is Tim dressing in drag? And Alex said, no, Tim is thinking about detransitioning. And for those of you who don't know what that means, that's where a trans person who has transitioned transitions back to the gender they were born, or the gender they presented as prior to transitioning. So Tim was thinking about detransitioning back to a girl. And I was like, oh, okay. And I just kind of, I didn't want to say I went with it, but I went with it. And I didn't even realize for a while what that how that impacted me. I started questioning my own gender. I started questioning my own, how valid my, transliness is. And I got into another bad place, I guess. I was unsure of who I was. I knew I was trans. I knew I was a guy. But at the same time, I was so scared that I wasn't, that I was just confused, that I would transition, I would fully transition, I would go on hormones, I would get surgeries, and then I would realize 10 years down the road from now, wait a minute, I'm not a guy, I've been a girl the whole time. And that thought really, really scares me. Well, no, it doesn't scare me anymore. It did scare me. And I didn't know how to cope with that for a while. I just kind of lived for a couple of months in this fear that I wasn't valid, that I didn't know who I was. And then something came up that I have no right to say between Alex and Tim, even though I do know what happened. They divorced, and my father told me that Tim had gotten caught up in some pretty bad things that I have very strong opinions about, mostly against them. No, mostly, completely against them. And I was kind of devastated. I felt cheated. I felt very wronged. I felt like I had been played. Like, I had been disrespected by Tim. And it just didn't end well. My girlfriend was there when I found out, and I went up to her, kind of in shock of what my dad had just told me about Tim, and I angry cried all over her. I hate admitting that I cry, but I angry cried all over her. I felt absolutely cheated, and I was just pissed off. And I ended up more or less cutting him out of my life. I deleted his phone number. I deleted him, like, on a lot of social media. Well, not a lot. I'm still Facebook friends with him, so I don't doubt he'll see this video. But it's kind of a way to say to him that he is no longer a family member to me. I can't deal with that. But after I, cut him out of my life, all the fears of detransitioning went away. I was like, I'm valid. I know who I am. And no one else can change that for me. No one else's opinions or their lives can change that. And I became very self-confident. I knew what I was striving for. And in that way, I bettered myself, I guess. And by cutting people out, it made a difference in my life. I know who I am. I'm going through with my transition. I mean, my name changes in 2 days. And I could not be more excited. It's hard sometimes. Seeing those people that I've cut out of my life and how they keep living theirs. It is hard. And I won't say that sometimes I miss them, because I don't miss them. Because I do miss them. But I know that I'm better off without them. I'm better without them. And I guess that's the whole point of this video. Is just to don't be afraid to get help or cut people out of your lives to make yourself a better person. It's not selfish. It's not, I mean, yes, people will get hurt, but in the end, it's your life. And as long as you're not living a miserable life, I mean, even if you are, it's okay to get help. And through all this, in these past 2 or 3 years, I've learned that. And so this video is just kind of self-reflective of that. So, yeah. I'm going on almost 20 minutes, so I'm gonna leave you guys off at that. I'll probably make a video Wednesday for the name change. If I don't, someone get on my ass about that. So, see you guys.